questions. One of them is, looking at the numbers that the Marshal Museum has put out on how much money they have, and based upon the pledges that they have in there, are those pledges, and coming back in the future, asking for money, are those pledges contractually liable? I mean, do they have to honor those pledges? I mean, if they don't, and then that's just more money that they're going to have, the Marshal Museum is going to be coming back in the future to try to collect. The second question is, so far I've not seen a ballot title, and what does it say? Does it say 1 penny? If it is that misleading? And I haven't seen a ballot title on anything yet. I was just curious if that's been.
They're promoting, the Marshal Museum is promoting it's only 1 penny. You only spend $1. But the ballot title does say 1%.
It does say 1%?
Yes, it does say 1%.
I was just curious.
And the first question, we'll let someone, I don't remember.
Good question.
It'd be a good question for Mr. Dunn to answer that, your first question.
Any more questions?
Yeah, only one more.
My question is, they cut back on the museum at one point in time because they said it was so large, it was out of their budget range. Why, at that point, did they not cut back even further and leave a balance in their account to maintain the museum for a few years so that they could generate revenue and keep it going? Why didn't they make those cuts then? Now they're wanting us to pay up? Sorry.
Because they knew what Plan B was. It's the bailout called a sales tax that they thought that they can get through because, just like the gentleman said, people aren't going to come out to vote. And they know, they're counting their votes already. They know that they think they've got this thing in the bag. And that's why we have got to get people out to vote. We've got to educate people. We've got to tell them we want the museum just like you do. The museum's going to happen whether you pass this tax or not. But we've got to get people out, or otherwise they'll be back in 2, 3, 4 years with their hand out again, just like they did with the sewer tax. And see, are we better off with our sewers now after we've had that tax in place? Where'd that money go over the years? Different issue, but it's the same issue. And if they will be back, and they'll be reaching into our pockets again. And nobody will take responsibility for it. Not this board. They'll all have an excuse about, oh, that was so-and-so, that wasn't me, we gave the citizens the right to vote, we set up an advisory committee to do this.
To answer your question, but the building right now is $35 million for 50,000 square feet. That's $700 a square foot. I have an article as recently as a year and a half ago where they said they redesigned it. Again, there's a lack of transparency in what their story changes from week to week to month on what this thing is really truly going to cost.
Can you speak to the one about the steel? Can they say?
One of their answers why they had to do this thing as a special election, and I'm going to call it in the middle of the night, that makes my story a little better, is if you had a 10% raw material steel increase at the mill, that's about 1/4% of the final project cost. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. I'd love to see their numbers. They obviously have to have a budget that says it's going to cost $10 million a day. You build it next month, 12 million. Again, there's a lack of transparency in what they're doing. This 1/4% number, I did some research on it. The raw steel is a tiny portion. I buy steel all day long, and yeah, steel prices up. But the total, my manufactured product in the day, it's a small portion of it. It's the same thing. You know, the guys who drill the holes and weld it and all those other variables. But again, 10% raw input cost only at about 1/4% of the final project. So that's a rounding error and a projection thing. Again, they haven't been transparent about what this thing is truly going to cost. And 10 million, 12 million, did it really go up that much?
First of all, I want to thank everyone.